You're closing deals, but customers aren't expanding or renewing. Does this sound familiar? You might have a value gap. Now, a value gap is the space between the value that you promise your customers during the buyer journey and the actual value that they receive during the customer journey. So here are 5 signs that your company has a value gap and how to start closing it, as well as a resource that I provide to dive deeper. So sign 1, you have delayed initial value. Are your customers falling into the trough of disillusionment during onboarding and implementation? So the trough happens when they have these great expectations and excitement from the sales team, and then they're sitting around in the quote valley of despair because you have long, complex, and monolithic deployments. They're just waiting and hoping to obtain value, and then they disengage and often never obtain value once your product does go live. So this solution for sign number 1 is to deliver some quick wins as quickly as possible, because every time your customers receive some value, it releases feel-good chemicals in the brain, and they're going to stay engaged with you for the long term. Sign 2, early churn. Now, you might be tracking your company's annual churn, but do you know when the churn happens? Because the main reason customers leave in the first year is because they never get value in the first place. They fail to launch. Now, I'm quoting myself from my own book, Onboarding Matters there, because the solution is to create prescriptive, proactive, and orchestrated onboarding practices that deliver meaningful value to your customers as quickly as possible and not just go live with your product. Because if they're not getting value, they're going to leave and they're not going to renew. So read my book, Onboarding Matters, to learn more. And number 3, sign number 3, you're focusing on your features, not outcomes. Now, if your internal teams cannot articulate the value and the outcomes that your customers are supposed to obtain, and your customers can't articulate them, then you have a value gap. You need to be able to articulate the specific value that your product delivers rather than focusing on features, functions. So the solution is to anchor conversations around measurable business results, not just for the customer's company, but for each role or persona as well. And I've got a great article on outcomes as well to dive into there. Number 4 is siloed teams. Now, if sales, onboarding, customer success are all telling different stories, then your customers are going to feel that value gap. They're going to see high friction. You are going to see lower customer satisfaction, as well as customer confusion. So you need to align teams around a shared definition of value delivered and North Star metrics, and create swim teams rather than silos. So read my article on silos to swim lanes. Sign number 5, you're relying on heroics at renewal time. So when it feels like you're starting over at renewal time, then you have a value communication gap. Your customers were sold something, they never obtained value, they don't know what your product does for them, then you really need to reinforce value along the way. You can't just have a great onboarding and an implementation and then kind of say, see ya. Customers feel that value cliff. So the solution is to deliver continuous value, continuously showcase the progress and the outcomes along a value journey. And I have an article on value journeys. To dive deeper, let's chat. I have a new value gap analysis, and I'd love to help you uncover what's blocking you and get you on that growth path today.